Welcome to the deep dive. In the world of high-stakes finance, a single, tiny, almost invisible data issue could potentially cause huge problems, right? Millions in trading errors, maybe even client data getting compromised.
Absolutely. It's a massive risk.
So today we're taking a shortcut to getting really well informed on how we stop exactly that. We're diving deep into a really interesting document, the Test Criteria Catalog for AI Systems in Finance. It's published by Germany's Federal Office for Information Security, the BSI.
Right. And this catalog, it's a provisional final version from May 2025. It's not just some academic paper. It's meant to be a solid, practical guide.
Okay.
The whole point is making sure AI in finance isn't just clever, but actually secure, reliable. And the fact it's in English, which is pretty much the standard for AI tech and regulation talk.
Yeah, that stands out.
It really shows they're thinking internationally, aiming for global collaboration on this stuff.
So our mission for this deep dive is basically to crack this thing open with you, go through it section by section, almost like instructors, yeah, pulling out the most important bits.
Exactly.
We want to show you how this catalog gives us a kind of blueprint for testing these AI systems and, crucially, why it matters to you, whether you're working in finance, building these systems, or honestly just curious about how AI is being made safe. So maybe to kick us off, what was the real push behind this BSI Project 587? Why this specific catalog for finance?
Well, the main goal really was to develop some strong evaluation criteria just for AI applications, specifically in the financial sector.
Okay.
And they weren't trying to, reinvent the wheel. It carefully builds on standards and regulations that already exist. It pulls together a really comprehensive set of criteria for what they call secure and trustworthy AI systems in finance.
Right.
And the key thing is how broad it is. It goes way beyond just traditional IT security. It gets into AI-specific stuff. Data quality, making sure it works right, security, transparency, like can we understand its decisions, and really importantly, bias.
Bias is huge. Yeah.
Definitely. So the idea is to give something practical. Criteria, sure, but also suggested test methods, even tools, to make sure it's actually feasible in the real world. They plan to test it with specific use cases too.
That makes a lot of sense. A practical roadmap, not just theory. And the document itself, how is it laid out? Is it easy to navigate?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Two main parts. Part I just describes how they put the catalog together, the background, their process.
Okay.
Part two, that's where you find the actual evaluation criteria, the first prototype of them anyway.
Right. Now, AI is it's massive, it's complex. How do they organize all these different criteria? You mentioned dimensions.
They did. They broke it down into 10 key dimensions. It's a way to make sure they cover all the bases, a holistic view.
Dimensions, okay.
Yeah, and they admit there might be some overlaps between them, but each specific criterion gets assigned to just one main dimension. Keeps things organized.
So what are some of these dimensions? Give us a flavor.
Sure. So you've got, for instance, AI security and robustness. This isn't just general IT security.
Right.
It's specifically about the AI's resilience. Can it handle weird inputs or even deliberate attacks designed to fool it? Analyzing those specific AI risks.
Okay, AI-specific security. Makes sense.
Then there's IT security. That's more your classic stuff, access controls, firewalls, securing the whole system it runs on.
The foundations.
Exactly. Then monitoring, keeping an eye on the AI's technical behavior, performance, security over time. Performance is about, well, does it actually work correctly? Is it efficient, reliable?
Can you trust the output?
Precisely. Governance looks at the organizational side, the rules and structures needed for responsible AI use. Human oversight is key too. How are people involved in developing it, watching over it?
Keeping a human in the loop, or at least nearby.
Right. Then fairness, tackling ethical issues, diversity in data, trying to prevent biased or discriminatory outcomes. Hugely important in finance.
Crucial.
Transparency, making AI decisions understandable. For users, for regulators, everyone. Data quality and management, the garbage in, garbage out problem. This is about handling data responsibly, ensuring privacy.
The bedrock, really.
Totally. And finally, development. That covers the whole process of building the AI architecture, training, testing, deployment, and crucially, documenting it all.
Wow, okay. That's comprehensive. It really shows that trustworthy AI isn't just a tech problem.
Oh, it's systemic.
It forces a rethink of risk management, data handling, oversight, everything. Building trust right from the start.
That's the core idea.
So these dimensions are the big picture. How does the catalog make them concrete? You mentioned an example entry. It sounds like a checklist for an auditor.
It kind of is, yeah. Very practical, very detailed. Each criterion entry has several parts.
Like what?
Okay, so first, a unique criterion ID. Something like TR07 tells you it's the 7th criterion under transparency. And a clear criterion name, obviously.
Simple enough.
Then, relevance based on use case parameterization. This is clever. It links to a questionnaire to see if this specific criterion even applies to the AI system you're looking at.
Ah, so it adapts.
Exactly. Then, the evaluation requirement. That's the main test objective.
Yeah.
It might have placeholders, like methods, that need specifics filled in based on the system.
Okay.
Then evaluation principle, is it document-based, meaning you check the paperwork, or test-based, meaning you actually run tests on the system?
Right. Review versus active testing.
Yep. There's also supportive guidance, extra definitions, context to help understand it.
Right.
Evaluation method gives you the step-by-step how-to for testing.
The nuts and bolts.
Pretty much. Evaluation tools might suggest specific software or techniques. And finally, really useful, a reference to EU AI Act, linking it back to the big European regulation.
That is incredibly thorough. But hang on, you mentioned a note they included something about fulfilling these criteria doesn't automatically mean you comply with the EU AI Act. That sounds important.
It is important, and it's a really honest clarification, actually.
How so?
Well, the EU AI Act, like a lot of high-level regulation, often states principles. It says what needs to be achieved, but not always the exact how.
Okay. It leaves room for interpretation.
Exactly. And the specific European standards that will define the how are still being developed. So the BSI is saying, look, these criteria are a really good way to help demonstrate compliance. They contribute significantly.
But not a magic bullet.
Right. It's not an automatic rubber stamp. The auditor still needs to use their judgment, consider the specific context of the AI system. It's a tool to aid compliance, not a replacement for legal adherence itself.
Okay, that makes sense. It's a guide, a strong one, but not a legal substitute. So it's not a rigid checklist then. It adapts.
That's the design, yes. It's meant to be flexible. The whole evaluation process gets tailored based on the specific risks and features of the AI you're auditing.
So it's efficient too.
Hopefully, yeah. Targeted testing. Now, you do need some basic AI knowledge just to fill out that initial questionnaire correctly.
The one that filters the criteria.
Right. But for the actual evaluation, running the tests, interpreting the results, you definitely need deeper expertise.
Makes sense. And that questionnaire, you said it's clever for filtering. What kinds of things does it ask? Is it getting into the weeds?
It asks some pretty pointed questions to classify the system quickly. Things like Q1. Does the system integrate generative AI foundation models, like large language models? That immediately flags a whole different set of risks.
Right. Gen AI changes the game.
Totally. Or Q2. Is the architecture of involved AI models fully known? Basically, is it a black box or not?
Transparency level. Okay.
Q6 asks, was personally identifiable or sensitive data used in the training? Big flag for privacy, bias concerns.
Mm-hmm.
Q9, does the AI system act completely autonomously? Is there a human out of the loop? That affects oversight needs.
Right.
And even Q10, does the system have an impact on society? Try
Yeah.
to gauge the broader potential consequences.
Wow. So based on those answers, it tells you which of the potentially hundreds of criteria you actually need to focus on.
Exactly. It customizes the audit.
That's really smart. It shows how the framework tries to be practical, avoids unnecessary box ticking, all about being efficient and thorough in building that trust.
That's the goal.
Okay, so let's zoom in a bit more now on part 2, the actual criteria. Let's start with that first dimension we mentioned, AI security and robustness. This is about attacks and things going wrong, right? What stood out to you here? Any surprises?
Well, it's definitely a critical area. AI is a tempting target. One key thing is AISR01 handling of AI-specific security incidents. It sounds basic, but it mandates properly addressing, logging, and documenting any security issues with the AI model itself.
Not just the surrounding IT system.
Precisely. And it aligns this with existing frameworks like C5, NIST, and IS2. Just good security hygiene, but focused on the AI core.
Foundational stuff. Okay.
Then there's AISR2 assessment of threats in third-party models.
Mm-hmm.
This is huge for the AI supply chain. If you use a model from someone else and you don't fully know its background,
Which happens a lot.
right,
Yeah.
you have to actively check it for hidden threats, backdoors, triggers left in the data, weird anomalies, basically inspecting that black box.
Due diligence on your AI components. Makes sense.
And then it gets really specific about attack types, like differentiating between AISR07 white box robustness and AISR08 gray and black box robustness.
Okay, what's the difference there?
It's about how much the attacker knows.
Right.
White box means they have full access, they know the model's internals, like having the blueprint.
Okay.
For those, they suggest testing against attacks like FGSM or PGD methods that make tiny, often invisible changes to inputs to fool the AI. Think changing a few pixels to make an AI see a stop sign as a speed limit sign.
Right, the subtle manipulations.
Exactly. Gray, or black box, is when the attacker has little or no internal knowledge. So they have to use different tricks, maybe trying to infer weaknesses from the outside, using things like transfer attacks or boundary attacks.
Testing against different attacker capabilities.
Yep. And another big one is AISR11 backdoor attacks. This is really sneaky.
How so?
It's where someone poisons the training data with a hidden trigger. The AI works normally most of the time, but if it sees that specific trigger, maybe a weird logo in an image or a strange phrase in text, it does something malicious.
And it's hidden until triggered? Wow.
Yeah, very hard to detect. So the catalog stresses the need for countermeasures, which are, well, they're complex.
These examples really drive home just how sophisticated AI attacks can be and how specific the defenses need to be. It's not just generic cybersecurity anymore.
Not at all. It's a whole new ballgame.
Okay, let's shift gears. Let's talk data quality and management. You said earlier it's foundational, garbage in, garbage out.
Absolutely. Can't have trustworthy AI without trustworthy data.
So what are the common traps here, and how does the catalog address them?
Well, this dimension covers the whole data lifecycle. A big trap is just collecting data without much thought. So DQM01 data planning and DQM02 data acquisition tackle that head on.
How?
They require documented processes. You need to strategically plan how you'll collect, process, manage data. Think about provenance. Where did it come from? Who owns it? Licensing. Is the source even trustworthy? It forces you to think about quality right from the start.
The documented strategy. Okay.
Then there are the privacy aspects, which are huge pitfalls.
Yeah.
DQM08 users' consent and DQM09 users' right to be forgotten.
GDPR territory.
Exactly. You need active informed consent. And crucially, you need robust ways for users to revoke consent and have their data deleted. Not just from the database, but potentially from the trained model too, preventing privacy attacks. That links directly to GDPR Article 17.
The right to be forgotten, that sounds technically challenging for AI models.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah.
Requires careful design. Then there's DQM10, data sensitivity and necessity filtering.
What's that about?
It's about minimizing risk. Before you even train the model, you must remove or pseudonymize any sensitive data health info, financial details, race, biometrics, unless it's absolutely essential for the AI's purpose.
Data minimization principle.
Right. Only use what you strictly need. It reduces privacy risks massively.
So it's not just about having lots of data or even clean data. It's about having the right data sourced properly, used ethically, managed carefully, with privacy baked in.
That's it, exactly. It shows the deep responsibility involved.
Okay. This whole deep dive into the BSI's test criteria catalog has really painted a picture of just how rigorous the standards for trustworthy AI are becoming.
Yeah, it's quite something.
We've seen how broad it is: governance, security, data quality, fairness, the whole package.
It really is a foundational piece of work, I think. It offers those practical criteria, those methods that can help bridge the gap, between high-level laws like the EU AI Act and what developers and banks actually do day to day.
Turning principles into practice.
Exactly. It highlights that having the knowledge is one thing, but understanding and applying it, testing against it, that's where the real value is. It enables that risk-based approach.
So, thinking about our listeners, what's the big takeaway here? As AI weaves itself more and more into finance, into our lives, really, understanding these kinds of frameworks seems less like an option and more like a necessity, right?
I'd say so. It's moving beyond just being impressed by what AI can do
Yeah.
to focusing on how we ensure it does what it should do,
Right.
Safely, responsibly, ethically.
Which leads to maybe a final thought or a question, really. AI isn't standing still, is it? Especially with things like generative AI evolving so incredibly fast.
Not at all. The landscape is changing constantly.
So the question that lingers is, how will frameworks like this BSI catalog need to keep adapting? How do we ensure these criteria stay relevant and effective for guaranteeing safety and trustworthiness tomorrow, next year, in this rapidly shifting digital world?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Constant evolution will be key.
Definitely something for all of us to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the future of trustworthy AI.